What's up, YouTube, and welcome back to another video with your boy Dari Promo. Make sure you hit that like button, hit that bell, and subscribe to the YouTube channel. So today we're gonna be spending 30 minutes reading this book right here. Do y'all know who this is? Jeezy, Adversity for Sale. And every word that I don't know, we go put in the notes on this computer and go over everything. So if somebody was to ask me what's my definition of adversity, I truly don't have one. So we go start right there. Now I think this is the real life way of growing and exercising our brain and being able to, learn new things, resilience in the face of adversity. Now I'm searching that up and everything, and we gonna start it off with chatgpt.com, of course. All right, here we go. So I guess a way of showing great courage, poverty, and illness. It's types of adversity that many people overcome. So that tells me right there and there that there's some hardship, difficulty, and struggle, trials, and challenges, that's inside this book that I'm finna read. On the back of it, it say the foundation to achieving any type of success on the block or in the boardroom, in the streets or the corporate suites, and love, marriage, family, faith, life, health, or whatever starts with one simple thing. You gotta believe. I've been hearing that lately. You gotta believe. Now, this book is by Jeezy, if you don't know. New York Times bestseller. It say right there, New York Times bestseller. Now, I'm going to take my time with this book because I'm going to be reading this book on both of my YouTube channels. On this channel and my new YouTube channel. So, y'all go see my new YouTube channel in the comments, man. Don't be saying nothing about my Michael Jordan jump man hanging off my laptop. It's real. It's a sticker, you feel me? It just got old, but it's still there. He been playing ball for a minute, you feel me? But let's start right here, y'all. We gonna start right here, like at the real beginning before we even dive off into the book, It say to Jeezy's legends of fans, his name is, let's see how we pronounce this word right here, because our real life don't really know how to pronounce it. So we go have Google pronounce it for us. Y'all might know how to pronounce it, but me, myself, I real life do not know how to pronounce it. So ain't no shame in my game, I'm here to learn new things and expand the brain this year, 2026. And I'm not gonna lie, I got this idea from Casanet, man. Shout out Casanet, because I just seen him on YouTube reading, and it's like, I always wanted to read too, but when do we have the time to do it, And if y'all seen him at the BZT Awards, then y'all notice he had to read across the stage, across the whole crowd, what he wanted to say that they had set for him to read. And I don't know if he could read it, or if he could not fully read it that day, but I feel like for some reason, Kevin Hart might have got up on him about that. Like, man, we finna be working on these movies and all that in the future, woo, woo, woo. And then on top of that, you finna be starting your own lane of movies to where we ain't gonna even have to work together as much, but you can be doing your own thing. So if you wanna do what you gotta do, you gotta get deep off into that reading. So, that was some game I peeped right there and instantly, soaked up. But yeah, y'all, this is the word right here that I was trying to, bring out.
Synonymous.
Synonymous. So we go put that in the notes as well. Synonymous. Synonymous. 1 second. All right. Synonymous. What meanings we have for that? Having the same or almost the same meaning as another word or phrase. So there we go with that. Now I told y'all I'm taking my time with this book as I read it because I want to learn, things that I don't know. I just don't, I don't want to just skip over things, you feel me? So I hope y'all not rushing me, you feel me? But I'm getting everything down pat as far as what I don't know. We got adversity, and we got synonymous. We got adversity and we got synonymous. So we finna start back from where we at. But the rule is I must stop once I reach 30 minutes, y'all. So wherever I leave off from 30 minutes, that's where I'm gonna come back to. So I got synonymous, and then I got adversity. Adversity is difficulties, struggles, or hard times in life. It refers to problems, challenges, or hardships that test you strength, patience, and character. Synonymous meaning having the same or almost the same meaning as another word or phrase. So, I'm putting this stuff in my notes so I can, learn how to speak better and have proper words to, dish out to the world, to the public. Not just, to the public, but online as well. You get what I'm saying? Okay. To Jeezy's legend of fans, his name is synonymous with hustle. So, like I said, synonymous, meaning they're having the same or almost the same meaning as another word phrase. You get what I'm saying? So, grit and the integrity to go out there and achieve your dreams. Let's get that down pat. Integrity. Let's get that down pat, I just, I'm hungry to know these words, man, for real. These is words that I don't know the meaning of, that I want to know the meaning of, than to just be out there guessing, So, doing the right thing even when no one is watching, being honest, trustworthy, and standing on your principles. I'm going to be definitely, bringing out that word more this year, integrity, Boom. Let's keep going. And his first book, Adversity for Sale, You Gotta Believe, Jeezy shares never before told stories of what it took for him to beat the odds and get out of the streets. The mindsets he carefully honored to get an edge, and the lessons that changed his life and business. Born into poverty and raised in a small town in the middle of South Georgia's so-called Black Belt, Jeezy realized at an early age that nothing was going to come easy. There were no handouts headed his way, and if he ever wanted anything in life, he was going to have to get out there and get it on his own. So that's what he did. Now, for the first time, Jeezy retraces his steps, going back to day one to share how he turned nothing into something, stayed solid, survived the trap, and let's get this word out, because I do got me a little, little speeching problem, and I just want to know how to pronounce it, and let's bring out the meaning of this word right here. You feel me? Let's bring out the meaning of this word right here.
Triumph.
Okay, woo, woo, woo. And triumph over adversity. Let's get that meaning. So the meaning of triumph, a great victory of or success, especially after struggle or difficulty. I'm loving it. I'm loving it. You feel me? I'm loving it. So we building definitions, as we read. Back to where I left off at. Where did I leave off at? Okay, over adversity to become the successful artist, father, husband, entrepreneur, and philanthropist that he is today. Let's get the definition of that right there. All right. A philanthropist is a person who gives money, time, or resources to help others and improve society, especially through charity or good causes. I'm actually, soaking up more knowledge, man. We was in school and everything, but I wasn't really paying attention back then in school. For real. Like, I don't even know how I got my diploma, y'all, but I did it. That he is today. Adversity for Sale isn't a street memorial like his music. These pages are filled with lessons from his deeply personal story to motivate you to go out and go after your dream. Boom. Adversity for Sale. So we 12 minutes and 18 seconds in just before we even start reading. Adversity for Sale. You gotta believe. Jeezy Jenkins with Benjamin Meadows and Graham. This book was also a gift, so it got the contents right here. Part 1, Jumped Off the Porch. Then we got Loyalty Ain't a Word, It's a Lifestyle. We got Let's Get It. We got Come Shop With Me. We got I Need a Vacation. We got I-75. We got The Come Up. Now, I-75, that take you right here where I'm at, Pontiac, Michigan. We got Part 2, The Greatest Show on Earth. We got Brandon 101. We got A Star Is Born. We got Def Jam's Bad Boy. The Streets Is Watching. We got Trap Star. We got Stay Strapped. Nine Lives, Soul Survivor, Marketing 101, The Inspiration, WWJD, Evolve or Die, Acknowledgements, Song Credits, and About the Author. So let's start. Y'all ready to start and get off into this book? It say, I used to hit the kitchen lights, cockroaches everywhere. Hit the kitchen lights, now it's marble floors everywhere. Called a carpenter, the roof on the coop gone. Cola, hush up. My bad, y'all. I had to tell my puppy to be quiet. All right, let's start over. I used to hit the kitchen lights, cockroaches everywhere. Hit the kitchen lights, now it's marble floors everywhere. Called a carpenter, the roof on the coop's gone. Give a F what he sold, I'm the truth, Holmes. Kitchen fumed up, Nick banging Tupac. I'm really not trying to say these cuss words. This book, it got some cuss words up in it, so I'm trying not to say it on YouTube, but we got the N-word jamming. He said, I'm the truth, Holmes. Kitchen fumed up, N-word jamming Tupac. Get my Benny Hanna's on, working 2 pots. Baby need shoes, partner need bail money. Bloodhound for the bread, I just smell money. It's just right, I recollect. Hands on, Jeezy really counted them checks. I'm Donald Trump in the white tee and white ones. The conversation is money. you want some, hey, you gotta believe it. You gotta believe it. Hey, you ain't never seen them pies. I'm talking so much white, it'll hurt your eyes. I really lived it, man. Counting so much paper, it'll hurt your hands. Let's get it. Thug Motivation 101. This book sound interesting, don't it? And we just now real life, getting right there with it, you feel me? So we at the preface of it, y'all. We at the preface of it. So let me see what's the meaning of the preface. A preface is an introductory section at the beginning of a book, speech, or document that explains its purpose, background, or how it came about. So let me go ahead and put that in the notes, and then we go ahead and get started, y'all. But I told y'all the rule is I gotta stop at 30 minutes. So once I hit 30 minutes, we gonna have to bring it back to where we left off at. I'm trying my best to dig off into this book a little bit for y'all on the first, episode. But here we go. All right. Now check it. I'm not a mechanic, so this book isn't going to be about how to fix cars. And I'm not a plumber, so I can't tell you about how to fix pipes. And although I did work for a roofing company one summer, and we'll get to that, I'm not a roofer. So I can't really tell you anything about fixing roofs either. But I am a hustler, and I am a leader. One thing I do know is how to get out there and get it. I've been doing it one way or another my whole life. I can tell you straight up that coming from where I came from to making it to where I am today is just as significant as anything Bill Gates or any of those other multi-billionaire CEOs you read about daily in the Wall Street Journal ever did. Because I am a black man in America who literally came from nothing. It wasn't just that I didn't have shit growing up. It's that no one around me and no one in my family ever had shit either. Everything I have today, I got it out the mud with my bare hands with no gloves on. The struggle was all I knew, but I had a bigger vision, and I think you should too. One of my biggest goals was to be able to One of my biggest goals was to be able to make money in my sleep. And not just because somebody was trapping for me at the other house down the block, but because the money I earned was working for me legally, above board, through smart investments and strategic partnerships built on solid relationships that didn't come with all of the very real, let me take that back, and built on solid relationships that didn't come with all of the very real risks that come with doing business in the streets. And I wanted to show myself in the world that the skills I learned while taking all the real penitentiary chances I took could translate to the corporate setting. To quote my DJ Drama, I think we accomplished that. But it damn sure didn't come easy, not at all. Going legit isn't as simple as changing addresses or swapping out baggy sweats for tailored Armani suit. You got to have crystal clear visions of who you are, where you want to be, and who you want to become. Not only that, but you're going to need a plan to get there and the discipline to execute that plan, no matter what it takes and regardless of any sacrifices you will have to make. Because one thing for certain, two things for sure, any goal worth reaching for is going to have some type of cost associated with it, and all breeds all types of uncertainty along the way. And if it doesn't, then you properly set your sights too low. Most of all, you're going to have the right mindset, because if you think you deserve the success you after, or you don't think you have it in you, weather the storms, then you might as well give up now, because you're destined to fail. Ain't no ifs, ands, or buts about it. But I don't care where you come from, what you've been through, or what you've done. If you can change your mindset, you can change your life. And that's real talk right there. I know because I seen it firsthand, time and time again. And that's why I'm putting my life down on these pages. So you can hear how I did it, and hopefully it inspires you to go out and get it too. That's not to say my goals are your goals or that my path should be your path. Matter of fact, I hope you get where you're going without going through half of the things I went through to get where I am today. But regardless of where you're at and where you're trying to go, I hope these words encourage you to continue chasing your dreams and to stay on your path, no matter what life throws your way, because things will happen and people will try to talk down on your dreams and make you doubt yourself. You'll be amazed by how many times you will hear that you can't do something from people around you. This book, the truth, y'all. They might not even realize that you're doing it either because they won't come straight out and say, man, you can't do that. It'll be more subtle things like that sound expensive, or that's really hard to do, or no one gets 2 major label record deals before they're debunked. That's why I'm here to tell you, never listen to the naysayers, even if they mean well, even the ones who tell you they love you, even the ones in your family. So get your mind right. Take your dreams seriously. Block out the bull and pursue your dreams with all you got, because that's the only way you'll ever get to where you're trying to go. And if you don't take anything else away from these pages, just know this one thing. It's the most important lesson I can ever share. And that's why it's the first thing I said on my Def Jam debut. The foundation to achieving any type of success on the block or in the boardroom, in the streets or the corporate suites, in the love, marriage, family, faith, life, health, or whatever, starts with one simple thing. You gotta believe. Y'all see what that say right there? Part 1. I already thought we was at part 1. So chapter 1, we at jumped off the porch. Is y'all with me? Drop it in the comments if you with me. Jumped off the porch. If y'all with me, I'm definitely coming with more for y'all because, you know, we close to 30 minutes. So I'm obviously not going to be able to finish up all these pages for y'all, but I want to finish up the whole book. So you got to believe. All right, let's start. I can't even front. I started off as a thief. At first, it was little things like stealing sodas out of the soda machine in front of this old mechanic shop down the block from my grandmother's house. This was back in the 1980s. And back then, if your arm was skinny and long enough, you could push open a little trapdoor, reach up into the machine, and pull the cans loose. I used to run that little play all the time, at least until my arm got a little too big. I found that out the hard way too. Reached up into the machine, and next thing I knew, I was stuck, and they had to call some adults to come down and help me get free. I was embarrassed as hell about that, but I just know my grandmother felt a whole lot worse. She was my dad's mom, Mrs. Mattie Pickett, and she was a fixture in the community, at church every Sunday, worked at the local Head Start program, and ran numbers on the side. She had 15 kids, including my dad, and even though she didn't have much, she was always taking in family. I stayed with her off and on through the years, and I wasn't the only one. There always be aunties and uncles and cousins coming in and cousins coming out. If you ever needed some hot food and a place to stay, Miss Mattie Pickett was there. You might be sleeping 6 to a bed, but you will have a bed. And you might not have much to eat, but you will have some food. Well, she came and got me that day. She didn't pull me down the block by the ear, the way you see old ladies do little kids in the cartoons, but that's how it felt to me. I'll never forget the tight look on her face as she walked me home either. Hot as hell, but playing it cool in front of the neighbors, hissing at me under her breath like I can stand for a whole lot, but what I won't stand for are liars and thieves. Needless to say, that was the last time I ran that little play, but that wasn't the only thing I took from that shop. The shop was run by this old head, Mr. Russell. He was sort of like a mechanic slash salvage man slash shopkeeper slash bank, and he was one of the first real entrepreneurs I ever met. He started with a backyard auto repair shop, expanded into the lot next door, and built himself a real estate empire. Matter of fact, he was so well established on the north side of Hawkinsville, Georgia, that my grandmother's neighborhood was named after him. They called it Russell City. For the most part, everybody in my family is from Hawkinsville. My grandmother, my dad, my mom, and her mom, and all my aunts and uncles, and all of that. And Hawkinsville is tiny. I'm talking 4,500 people on a good day, even fewer back then. As you can imagine, there's not much to it. Couple of highways, some factories, a little small town main street, some fast food joints, a bunch of churches and liquor stores, and that's about it. But compared to all the other little towns around there, Hawkinsville is big because it's the Pulaski County seat. Now I'm going to sit here and pretend like I know what all that entails. But for that little part of South Georgia, Hawkinsville is in the hub. That's where the regional hospital is, the county schools, the courthouse, and the sheriff's office. So if you live in any of those little surrounding towns and you got some business to handle, you're coming to Hawkinsville to get it done. As small as Hawkinsville is, though, it's big enough to have a hood. Put it this way. You might have to know what you're looking for to even find Hawkinsville on the map. But it does have a Martin Luther King Boulevard. It's just a short stretch of a road on the north side of town, not too far from where my grandmother stayed. But remember when Chris Rock said, "I don't give a F where you are in America"? If you are on Martin Luther King Boulevard, there's some violence going down. Yeah, well, even in Hawkinsville, that was true. And that's real life true, y'all. Like, any Martin Luther King Boulevard, you gotta know, like, you in the hood, you in the neighborhood, you in the trenches. Old Mr. Russell had this car radio. He had a lot of shit, really old broken down cars, refrigerators, TVs, and whatever else. And he just sit in his chair and watch you dig through it all until you find whatever it was that you was looking for. And then he'd quote you a price. But all the stuff that Mr. Russell had, what I really wanted was that car radio. That was the late 80s, and the flyest thing you could have in your car back then was a Alpine 2-knob pull-out take deck. Old Mr. Russell wasn't an Alpine, but it was the style, and that was good enough for me. And I knew if I was smart and played it right, I just might be able to get it for free. At that time, old Mr. Russell was sort of trying to look out for me. I was only about 11 or 12 years old, but I had already developed a rep as a troublemaker. And because he and my grandmother were close, at a certain point, she asked him to take me under his wing. I guess that's when they were looking at it. The more time I spent at old Mr. Russell's shop, the less I had to get in trouble in the streets. I started going over to Mr. Russell's spot pretty much every day after school, helping him out here and there. And then whatever he had to be done was done. I pull up a chair next to his, and he keep an eye on the shop while he slept. That's when the trouble started to brew. Hours and hours would go by, days, sometimes with nobody stopping by, and I'd just sit there with my eyes on the prize. He kept the radio on the shelf high on the wall next to a bunch of other junk collecting dust. The way I was looking at it, he must not have cared about it that much. Otherwise, he would have kept it somewhere else to protect it and keep it safe. But that radio was everything to me, so I made a plan. For the next few days, whenever I go over there, I'll wait for him to fall asleep, and then I'll move my chair closer and closer to the shelf. I took my time with it, so it didn't seem like suddenly one day my chair was in a whole other place. Then when I finally felt like I got him close enough, I watched his eyes to see if he could see me. I'd make my move, and when I was sure he was asleep, I made sure to wear a baggy black shirt that day. Then, just like always, up I guess we gotta stop right there at just like always. So we go highlight that part right there and be back with part 2, y'all.